the last herb that we'll talk about all the functions of it is Huangqi or Astragalus, which we mentioned earlier. It tonifies not only the qi, but it also tonifies the blood. And think about this. In order to tonify the blood, you usually have to tonify the qi too, because you need the qi in order to create the blood. It also tonifies the pancreas and lung qi. We talked about the lung qi for the protective qi or the wei qi for our immunity. It tonifies the pancreas qi because the pancreas is the earth element. Earth is the mother, Earth is the mother of metal, and metal is the lung. So in order to tonify the child, you always strengthen the mother in 5 elements. So that's what we're doing here. But astragalus or huangqi also has this functioning of raising the yang, which means that it guides upwards. So it guides upwards and in that function out to the surface, which is why it also supports the wei qi or the protective qi. But that guiding upwards is contraindicated in someone who has hypertension. You have to watch out for that. Okay? So if somebody takes this herb and then they start getting headaches right afterwards, you know that it's too much for them. I will always ask my patients, do you get headaches before I give them this herb? And then I will determine whether it's a headache due to an excess, in which case I will not use it, or if it's a headache due to deficiency. Because sometimes the qi doesn't, if it's not strong, doesn't rise up to the brain, in which case it is beneficial. I used to have that kind of headache. I was taking a traditional formula that's used for headaches, and it was working okay, but it wouldn't really go too far. And then I added huangqi to it because I realized that it liked pressure when I pushed on my head. Do you remember that symptom that we talked about? Things which like pressure indicate that it's excess or deficiency? Deficiency. Because you're putting it in. Yeah, when it's excess, it doesn't like it because there's too much there. So it doesn't want pressure on it. So I added huangqi to it and immediately my headaches got exponentially better. Yeah, cool stuff. It's also used like with stroke patients right after a stroke. Okay? Along with other herbs. Yeah. Yes.
What
Benson.
would be the basic herbs that you will use with qi?
There's so many different possibilities. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
But we have one formula we'll talk about later.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. We already talked about huangqi strengthening the protective qi or the wei qi. It also is said to stabilize the exterior, and that's because the wei qi, like Alex said earlier, right, it opens or controls the opening and closing of the pores. So when you stabilize the exterior, it means you're restoring that function of opening and closing the pores and stopping excessive spontaneous sweating. Good. Right, and it has all these other things that it does. The first 3 are the ones that it's mostly used for, but it also promotes urination and reduces edema. This is when the qi isn't processing fluids well. Or it also discharges pus. So any like nodules with pus in it or infections with pus, it'll help discharge that. But it also generates flesh, just like frankincense and myrrh. Right? You can use this topically to help close wounds. You just have to make sure that the wound should be closed. There's some wounds where it needs to stay open because you need to bleed out the toxin, as an example.